Okay, hopefully I should be up with the stream. Let me just put the link everywhere. Don't be afraid, daybreak has come. 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 Give me a second, guys. I'm just posting the links in different chats and stuff, just so I get a few viewers out of this. Here we go. I think that's enough. Okay. Hey, welcome. So today I'm going to be working on, let's give it like a minute or two extra, just so that way people come in. There's not going to be much editing in today's video because I'm not really doing any editing for right now. I could edit the Shield Hero video, but not going to do that right now. Right now I'm focusing on actually working on the fan adaptation project as a whole for the Sword Art Online Sisters prior thing. So, yeah, basically what that involves is a lot of management work and a lot of, like creating different assets, organization, things like that. So if you want the behind the scenes on a very large scale project like this, then this is the video to watch right here. This is the live stream. If you have any questions on what I'm doing, then feel free to ask. I'm not sure if there's going to be a whole lot of me like explaining things. You guys are free to ask questions and I'll explain what I'm doing at different points, but it's not going to be like my other live streams where I go super in depth with different things. So for perspective on where the one second, the live stream seems to be lagging for some reason. I'm just trying to make sure that the stream quality is good. Let me put my music at 144p so that way it doesn't wreck the bandwidth. Come on. You can do it, stream. There we go. Okay, sorry if there's background noise. That's kind of what happens when you stream in the middle of the day. Okay, so first things first, now that I got the text box, I can make a replica in Photoshop that looks better. So this text box was made by Jason and Jason Blue Wine. He's kind of like the jack of all trades guy on the project. So he made a basic text box template, which I like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that template and I'm going to improve on it to suit what I feel like are the needs of the project. Why did that not work? There we go. I don't think I can get much viewers on this live stream, but the people that do watch it, you'll learn a lot from this for how to manage projects like this. Keep in mind, I'm still figuring stuff like this out myself, if I'm being perfectly honest. So let's start out with a new. Let's do it in terms of pixels at 1920 by 400. So that's probably a bit large. Actually, let me do 1920 by 1080. And then what I'll do is I'll work off of a actual background, so specifically one of the backgrounds from Neptunia. Neptunia stuff. Let's go to Neptunia assets, in-game background. Let's go to Rebirth 3, this one right here. Let's check the res on this. Image size, yeah, that's way too big. Let's switch it to 1920. Unlink it so that way I will not. Constrain portions by 1080. Perfect. There we go. So this will allow me to make a template off of it. So again, sorry if there's background noise. That's just what happens when I record in the middle of the day. Not much I can do about it unless I want to record at night, which there's not as much time at night because I don't want to fall asleep at work. So only doing 8. Okay, 8 looks like it's good. So I'm going to delete that and put in a new one. Let's do rounded edges. So width will be 1900 by 380. What's wrong with the auto snapping? There we go, that looks good. Where is everybody? I guess not a lot of people watching this stream. It doesn't really matter. I'm mostly streaming this just because it gives me content to upload, and as long as I'm having something that I'm working on, it gives me the motivation to really get stuff done. When I'm not having that feedback, I don't have the motivation to do anything. So really live streaming this is more for my sake than for your guys' sake. Like, it just forces me to get stuff done, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't care if I have 1 viewer, 0 viewers. I'd prefer 100 viewers, but I'm never gonna get 100 viewers. So even if you're the only one, hey, better than nothing in my mind. Okay, so let's look back at the reference. The reference is a green. I said I didn't want a green, I need a blue, and the reason is because the scenes that I'm going to be working with are likely going to have a greenish tint to them, or at least some of them will. So because of that, I'm going to want to work with a blue. So let me find a good blue that I'm going to work with. Probably a light blue. And the other one, let's start with this, and then let's make it lighter. And let's see how that looks. So what I'll do is, let's delete the background, add a layer underneath, and then what I'll do is I will take the gradient tool, do like this. No, it's not noticeable enough. Yeah, it's not noticeable enough. No. No, that won't work. It needs to be a gradient like this. How am I gonna do this? Because maybe if I zoom out, go like that. Too much. Too much. I want to be roughly in the center. Still too much. Maybe I do it from this side. Too much. Let me adjust the colors maybe. I like that a lot better. Okay, so now what I'll do is where's the selection? Magic wand. So let's make a duplicate just in case. And then radarize the layer so that way I can select it. Then I can add the center to the selection. Then I can reverse the selection and delete it. And delete it. There we go. So let's see how this looks in here. Shoot. Okay. Test group. Okay. Okay, now let's merge those down. Then I'll copy that layer. Okay, 1, it's too big. 2, let me see it with character models anyways. Looks like a nice blue. I agree. Also, I think I'm going to need some level of transparency. So let me grab one of the character models. I'll grab a static model because I don't need a dynamic model right now. So I'll grab the Ico model. So copy, paste. Ooh, shoot. Wow, that's a lot bigger than I realized. It doesn't matter. I'd rather it bigger than smaller, really. Because bigger I can work with. If it's too small, that can cause issues. So let's do an easy fix by just reducing the opacity for now on the whole thing. Rather than just this, screw it. I'll just fix it for the legit way. Actually, why don't I just copy both of these? Because it won't let me. Of course it won't. Okay. $37. So I think that was the... No, I used 42 with the NEP cutscenes. That one's too light. Let's try 65-ish. Let's just check with the actual rectangle background. And move those two down. I know this is too big. I'm more just trying to get a sense of how the text would look with this. Yeah, 100% that text box is way too big and would need to be adjusted. Character model in this case is too small, so let's do this. And let's center it. What do you think? You're the one viewer actually watching. What do you think? By the way, there's like a 60-second delay, so sorry about the delay. Yeah, I'm just waiting for your response since I actually have a viewer watching that seems to be willing to comment. I don't even know what I'm humming. I'll listen to only my railgun. Great song. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, considering I didn't get a response within that amount of time, I'm just going to continue on, whatever. I think I should make the corners a bit more rounded. Let me see the original. Yeah, the corner should be a bit more rounded. Aside from the corners being a bit more rounded, Let me check the opacity. Let me try 70. What if I went with a gray instead? Okay, let's try this. Why is that? Oh, that is visible. Just at 39%. Okay, here we go. Let's make this a darker gray. So let's have it go from a darker gray to a lighter black. I'm not sure. I want to see that. At the very least, with that scaling, it won't work. Yeah, it needs to be darker. Okay, let's try reducing the opacity. I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, I think I'm gonna stick with the blue. The blue looks pretty good. Maybe if I went with a red border or a light red. I don't love that. Let me see if I can make that work though. Maybe a green, a complementary color. I don't love that either. Maybe a darker green. I like that a bit. I kind of like that to a degree. Let me get Jason on and see what he thinks. Okay, I want to see what he thinks. Because I kind of like it, but it still feels off to a degree. Hmm? Hey, Salieri, what's up? 1 second. Why can't I hear you? Yeah, what's up? Didn't expect you to join. You sound very tired. Anything going on with you? What time is it by you? Yeah, you should go to sleep sometime soon. Yeah, I won't keep you for too long unless you want to, but you sound like you need some sleep. Okay. Sort of. So right now I'm working on the text box and I'm curious what you think. So you can see the actual thing through Discord. Um, I feel like the gray. So here's the thing: the backgrounds. Like this is a good example of what one of the backgrounds will probably be. This is not going to be one of them. This is just from Neptuni. It's a good placeholder example. But you can see lots of green, and I feel like that a green text box would interfere with that. So this was like the concept background that Jason came up with, and I like it, but the green will screw up everything. So I feel like a blue with a very subtle gradient would work, but then I'm working on the border. And the border, I don't want it to just be black. So I was thinking this green, and I like it, but something's off about it. Hmm. Do you think there would be any way to make the text box slightly more complex while keeping its simplicity in a way? You know what I mean? Like to make it stand out a bit more, but without making it super complex. Need what? I don't want it to be super complex. At least not because there might be one or two text boxes. I'm not entirely sure yet. There's a possibility we might not even use a text box depending on a couple of different factors. But right now we're running under the assumption that there is going to be a text box. So for right now, like if there is going to be two, then one's going to be a very simple one like this, and the other one is going to be for the Asuka Empire crazy, like that's like the whole fighting game thing. So that's going to be like a overly designed text box. But for the Serene Garden, which is basically like Animal Crossing, I'm thinking a much more simple text box. A what? Mood boiler? How do I spell it? Like that? Oh, multiplier. I thought you said mood boiler. Multiplier. Multiplier layer. Oh my god, I cannot spell today. Blend mode multiply. To use multiply blending option is very handy. Supply. Ooh, I like that idea. So layer. Oh, this thing? difference. That's a very good idea, actually. That looks sick. I love that, but that's not gonna work for this. That's good to know for the future, though. That looks sick. I can maybe use that for some things, actually. Not for this, but for a couple other things. That's interesting. That looks cool. That won't work at all. That won't work at all. With just the border. Why just the border? I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, darken would be a bit better. No, but that just makes it a darker version. Like, I might as well just go with a darker version of it and then reduce the opacity slightly. Oh, here's multiply. Yeah, it's a good idea, by the way. So how about this? Why don't I do this? That doesn't work. Yeah, that just doesn't work. Yeah, it basically reduces the opacity of the thing itself almost completely, which is the problem. By the way, how's progress going on the Merida Asuka Empire model? Okay, it's fun. What? Yeah, I saw you were working on it. It's looking great so far, 100%. Let me just take a look at it so I can give you specific feedback, because me just saying, oh, it's good, that's not as good as me saying, okay, this is what's good, this is what's not as good. Yeah. Yeah, I know it's an Arden drawing. I remember where you posted it. Here we go. Okay, you added wrist, even that even probably won't be shown. No, it's better that you did add those, because even though you think they won't be shown, keep in mind we can add animations to it to move the arms. So if you decide to end up doing the animation, you can actually add in an animation so that way the arms can move around. And if you do that, that will allow you to actually utilize the hands if you want. Don't know what to do about that area. By the way, thank God they actually released volume 22 with Sister's Prayer. That makes our job so much easier. One second, let me grab the reference image. The original reference image, not the wait, no, here. Shoot, what just happened? What did I just do? Volume 22 images. Here we go. Okay, remember how we worked on the Yuki model, like, as the second model, the Yuki Asuka Empire one? Yeah, that's with the reference image now. That's basically gonna be needed to completely redone, but that's we don't need to do that right away. I think that could wait. Yeah, that looks completely different, and also that is not up to par with your current art. It's let's be real. It still looks sick, but your current stuff are so much better that I don't even know if we could use this. A what of the body? Hmm. Here. Took a step. Oh, template. Took a step back to make a template or something like that. What? Where is whatever? Yeah, you don't need to be. Got it. Oh yeah, did you find that video I posted the other day helpful? You know what I'm referring to, right? Here, this thing, right over here. You saw that? Did you find that helpful or no? Yeah, that guy makes it look very easy. Question, by the way, are you up to date with what happened last night or no? So last night we got a new member on the project, Mr. Sega over here. This guy is a professional level 3D animator. We might be able to get him to do a actual fight animation for the ending fight. Yeah, 3D models and everything. Imagine like like the new seasons of Death Battle. I'm Death Battle on YouTube. I'm hoping ideally something like that. Let me pull something up. I'm hoping go to voice dump. I'm hoping for something on par with if you go to like timestamp. It's not going to be anywhere near this realistically. Just for perspective on like within the same planet as this. You know what I mean? If you go to timestamp like 11:30, nowhere near that level of quality, obviously, because that has a whole team working on it. But imagine within the same planet as that. Yeah, imagine that. I doubt it will come out anywhere near that, but even if it comes out to be 1/100th of that, that would be absolutely sick for a fan project like this with basically no budget. Exactly, and he's also a 3D. He's an animator and modeler. So here's the thing, though, and here's why I bring it up. In order to do that, in order for him to make that, we are going to need to make references for all the size of the characters and things like that. So I'm not sure if they do not need to be nearly as high quality as the models themselves. So maybe we could have Jason do that, or if you want, you can do that, whatever you want. It's that you already have a huge load of everything you're working on, so I'm thinking, let me get your opinion on that. Do you want to do that yourself? If you could do those incredibly quick and dirty, low res, or should I get Jason to do it, and or maybe ask Kyra or whatever the guy's name is to do it, the new artist. So I can make a very, very, because I could barely draw stick figures. I can make a rough, okay, draw this, but actually make it look good. And then either you or Jason can build on that, whatever you want. Seven? I have all the SAO 3D models, by the way, if you need that. Of seven? I could grab one if you want. Give me a second. Basically, exactly. But since we already have the front because those are the sprites, but we do not need something nearly as detailed for the back. It's just meant to be a rough reference for him to get the idea of, okay, this is how we would make a 3D model off of it. So that would be entirely up to your determination, really, because of the fact that we don't have the closest that we even have to reference images is that brand new volume 22 images. So we could base it based on what you think would be the back look, or we could have Jason do that. Whatever you want. You have a lot on your plate, so I just want to know if you want to do that or if I should find someone else to do that, so that way you could better spend your time on other things. Well, I'm sitting here and directing everything to make sure everything goes smoothly. What? Long time in the future. I'm prepping it far ahead of time so that way once we do need it, the animations are already ready. You know, I already got voice actors well before we actually need them. Yeah, that mindset. Yeah, that exact mindset. But then on top of that, with this, it's kind of like you, where if let's say we hit a point in the project where we're ready for that fight animation, we don't have it, then it's going to take months for that to actually get done. So my mindset is let's get this started now while we still have months away before that's needed. And then by the time we actually need it, it'll be done. Because that's like episode 4. That's not even episode 1 stuff. The project is probably going to be divided into 4 episodes, by the way. 4, if not maybe more, but I'm expecting 4. Exactly. So, here's what I'd say. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. You know what? As project manager, I'm going to say this. I want you to focus on the other things. I just wanted to bring this to your attention mostly. I can't keep piling things up on you because you're busy enough as it is. I'm going to get Jason or one of the other artists to do that based on one of your existing models. So let's say based on the problem is that the Merida model is not done yet, and we don't have the Yuki reference needs to be redone. Yeah, 100%. We can't really. We can move forward without that, but we can only move forward for so long without that because that's like a bottleneck. That once we have that, we could we could get started on other things. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Compare that, by the way, to the first model, the Ico model. It's night and day the difference, and these are like one revision apart. Like with this model, you can see like visible issues like in small areas all over the model. And this is still a phenomenal looking model. Realistically, this looks sick. But you've progressed to become so good over the past year that you made your initial models outdated. It's legitimately impressive. You are a prodigy, plain and simple. Anyways, I think you should get some sleep. I'm gonna continue on doing all this stuff. I have a ton of things that I can do until then. I need to do some scripting. I need to do some planning. I need to do some photoshopping, things like that. I'm just prepping your end so that way you know. Okay, I'm gonna see if Jason or one of the other artists can do that. But we are going to be bottlenecked by the lack of that last model. So if you get that done, that would be great. If you have other personal priorities, you prioritize those first above the project. Okay? What's wrong with it? Is there something I could help you to fix it? BIOS. What did you change from and to? Okay, if you could give me the specific hardware, I could look into it for you. I'm very good with this kind of stuff. Type in chat just so that way I can look it up easy. Okay. Are you not able to draw in the meantime, or are you still able to draw in the meantime? Gotcha. Okay, so top priority of mine in that case is to figure out how to fix your problem with your PC if I can. They do not need a programmer. 100% that's not the case. 100. If they're telling you they need a programmer in order to fix your motherboard BIOS, they're scamming you. Tell them I'm taking my stuff back. Please give it back to me right now. Give them whatever they ask for within reason. What do you mean a device? No, that's not required. BIOS updates always simply require a USB flash drive. That's ridiculous. I have a feeling that they are scamming you. That looks like the motherboard. This is a good board. Wait, no, it's B350 for that price? That's ridiculous. For that price, you better be getting X470. That's ridiculous. When did you get this board? So it's too late to return it. Give me a second. Let me look into this for you. Also, why Ryzen 7 2700? You should have gotten a 2700X. You want a what? Um, 2700X is a lot more powerful for basically like $10 more. Dude, these things are not compatible. You gotta be kidding me. You there? These things are not compatible out of the box, dummy. You should always check this stuff. Yeah, check PC Part Picker in the future. It literally says if it's compatible or not. It literally says right at the bottom that will only be compatible potentially if you do a BIOS update. And with boards like these, doing BIOS updates is risky and doesn't always work, so I don't recommend them unless you absolutely have to. Especially considering this is B350. Yeah, I checked the 2700X, but it should apply to the 2700 regardless. My point remains, though. Seriously, dude, you have an entire server of PC nerds that know exactly how to build this kind of stuff. You don't even ask us. You know what? I can't blame you too much. I made the same dumb mistakes when I was first building PCs, so I'm not gonna be too hard on you for that. But yeah, you made a mistake. Learn from it for the future. In the future, use PC Part Picker to check the compatibility. In this case, it specifically says that you need a BIOS update. When you get the chance, ask whoever you gave your PC to if they could give it back and try doing a BIOS update yourself. If you need help, I will literally do it live with you. What do you mean you don't have a CPU to update it? Okay, how it works is you have the Ryzen 7 2700. It doesn't matter. What you do is you put it in there, and I'm pretty sure you just have to do a BIOS update from the get-go. Or no, actually, I'm not sure if that would work. I'll do some research for you. But why wouldn't you have a compatible CPU? What happened to your old CPU? You bent the pins? Yep, that's what happens. The same thing happened to you with the dumb cooler? The same thing happened to you. Do you have it on you right now? I'm saying the one with the broken pins. Okay. Well, you done screwed up pretty bad. Okay, in the future, here's what you want to do. Check to see if it's actually compatible in the first place. Also, by this point, if you don't actually have the parts, I can't really do much to help you. So, if you could get the parts back, I can help you. If you can't get the parts back, I can't do anything. So try to just get this resolved as quickly as possible. They they better not make you pay if they can't do anything. Oh, Tuesday? That's fine. Okay, perfect. Okay, I think by this point you need some sleep. It's midnight for you and you sound exhausted. Okay, get some sleep, dude. Don't worry about the PC. Everyone here is here to help you if you do need help with that. Um, if you want, you could do some drawings in the meantime, or you could wait till you get your PC, whatever you want. And yeah, go get some sleep, buddy. Good night. What? Yeah. Okay, everyone is in the voice chat. By the way, everyone, I'm live streaming right now. Anyways, let's start with Owen because we were talking about the music earlier, right? Bye. Yeah, I'm live streaming right now. I doubt anyone's. Yeah, there's one person watching right now, so. Yep. Okay. So I'm thinking that for the music end, if you can do something like this, I'm thinking a Animal Crossing like song for the main theme for inside the game world. Jason, I'll talk to you in a second about the text box. Do you think you could do something like that, Owen? I don't really know the instruments just because I'm not a music person. Um, hmm. If you want, what I could do is I could look at the different Animal Crossing themes and give a few as suggestions for, oh, nothing. This is what I like. This is what I think would sound good with this. That'll have to take like half an hour though, but I could do that immediately after I'm done talking with Jason and Sega. Okay. How long roughly do you think it would take you to do something like that? Roughly. Okay. Get back to me on that. I will send you some I'll send you some examples when I get the chance, as soon as I'm done talking with everyone else. Okay, Jason, you have a mic? Jason. Well, he could at least type in chat. He doesn't have his headset muted, so. Okay, Jason, I'm curious for your feedback on the text box. So give me a second. So here's my thing. One second. So can you see my screen? So I'm thinking in terms of the colors, I don't want it to be black. So I made two different versions with this. A grayish black. You're playing a game? If you're playing a game, we could talk later if you want. Whatever you want, it doesn't matter. I can tell you about it. I need specific feedback on this really. Give me a second. I'll put a screenshot here. So there's two screenshots. What just happened? What in the world just happened? Two screenshots. I want to do something with the green one right there, like let's say a different color other than black, but I can't think of any color that works well for it. So if you have any feedback on that, just let me know. When you die, just give me some feedback on that. Okay. Next, Mr. Sega. You have your mic? Perfect. Okay, you can see that things are actually getting done. Yeah, got it. So what's difficult about the hair? Is it the fact that you have to add in hair physics or just designing the hair? Got it. Yeah. Hmm. Got it. Hmm. It looks like it could be a bit more detailed in terms of, but I'm assuming this is a rough model, correct? Really? That's a long time actually. But you don't mind how long it takes, right? You don't mind? That's what I like to hear. That's exactly what I love to hear. It's that mindset that got me started with this whole project, learning new things, experimenting with new things. And when I find people, it's rare to find people like you that are willing to work on things like this for the sheer sake of making a project and improving your skills. So, someone like you is definitely going to be very valuable. Exactly. You get it. You're one of those people that gets it. It's not my work. This is all Salieri with my management. Yeah, I'm still figuring out all the directing stuff if I'm being perfectly honest. Just make sure that anything you do show me, you're not that you're actually allowed to show me if you want to show me stuff, you know what I mean? Because stuff like that can be sensitive. Yeah, so I spoke with Salieri like 5 minutes before you joined actually about that. What we're probably gonna do is either Jason, if he wants to, or one of the other people on the project, one of the other artists, we're going to get them to draw the multiple perspectives that you mentioned. If you look in voice dump, you can see is the thing that Salieri posted what you're looking for, something like that. Yeah. In a T pose. Okay. What's an A pose? Here, I'm Googling it. 1 second. Hmm. Yeah, if you could find me a reference, that would be helpful. Sorry for background noise, by the way. You're putting in voice dump, right? Got it. Okay. Does it need to have the vectors like that? Because I don't know if we could do the vectors like that. Got it. Yeah, I know. A texture. Yeah, they use a flat texture. Yeah, I was gonna mention that. That's ideally what would be a great idea because I think it would probably save you a lot of time while still looking good. Got it. Yeah, because this is a rough, and without that, it doesn't really look as good as a rough. I understand that, at least without the textures. Yeah, the hair looks like it does need some work. Speaking of the clothing, give me a second. So that model is an incredibly old model. It was one of the first models we worked on, and that model came out before this image I just put in voice dump. So this image in voice dump is it's a image that came with the light novels. So the book that we're making the fan adaptation on, it came out a few years ago, but it was like it came with the DVDs. So recently they decided to re-release it as part of the actual official light novel series, and with that they now included some additional pictures. So before we didn't really have this picture of that character like we do now, so we had to make a lot of guesses about how the character would actually look. So the difference is now we have a better look. So hold off on the clothing until we redesign that model. It's not supernatural. I'm going to be working on specifics for how the world functions, kind of like a how should I put this? Kind of like a explanation of how of a lot of the terminology for the series, a lot of the general things that you should know. So for specifically this fight scene, the game mechanics work that the characters are like, let's say, standing on the floor, and if they do a pose, different options will appear on the floor around them, and if they step on it, imagine Dance Dance Revolution, that you step on the correct thing. So in this case, instead of you dancing to the beat, instead it actually initiates a specific fighting animation for you. So that's how that works. So this is going to be for a YouTube video. We're not making an actual game. We're making a fan adaptation of the book. So this is for YouTube. Yeah. If your PC is not powerful enough, you could give some of the rendering to me, and I could do some rendering because my computer is crazy powerful. So if you're worried about, I have AMD Ryzen 7 2700X and a GTX 1070. 6700K. 6700. Yeah, so my system is slightly more powerful than yours. If you want to offload at any kind of rendering to me, let me know what program I need to download and how to begin the render, and I can do any kind of rendering you need. I have multiple computers, by the way, so my other computers are not as powerful. So let's say if you have a complex file that'll take my computer a few hours to render, it would take a few days for my other computer to render, but I'm not using those things for anything, so it doesn't really matter. Like anything that you just don't want your computer to take up time doing. You need to render what? By part. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I get it. Okay. Prerequisites? That's fine. What you need to do it? You need to do it in a specific order. I get it. Okay. So basically, it's not like you click a simple button and it does it. You need to do it in a proper way. So, out of curiosity, is rendering a 3D model like this the same as rendering a video? So, like, if you render a video in, let's say, Sony Vegas, what happens is that it takes all the clips and it puts it into one video file, and then you can do whatever you want with that video file. Is rendering it in something like Maya just prepping it so that way you could edit it more, or is it prepping the final version so that way you could begin, let's say, animation? So, it's frame based. Yeah. I think I kind of get it. So, question in that case, will it be possible in that case for you to send me files so that way I can render it for you to make things easier on all of us? Okay, no problem. In that case, I will do what I can. Just let me know what you need me to learn, when you need me to learn it, and if you ever need to offload rendering onto me, then I have a beast of a computer. I could run it all day and all night as long as needed. And yeah, you can send me anything you need me to render so that way we can get this done. Yeah, that makes it faster. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's the same thing with video editing. Yeah, it's the same thing with video editing. GPU rendering speeds things up tremendously. What I could do is I could overclock my GPU though, so that way we could get it even faster. Actually, yeah, I could overclock mine. Don't worry, I overclocked all my parts. Yeah, as long as you have the GPU rendering. Material sounds like that would be like a RAM thing. Is that true? Oh, because the light is reflecting off it. That's what takes the processing power, correct? Yeah, it doesn't need to be as detailed. 4K will be fine for that, right? Yeah, we're going with 1080p video. Otherwise, it would because that's a good baseline that everyone in the project that their computer could probably hit with anything they need to do. Anything beyond that, we're risking that some people might not have powerful enough systems in order for us to do that. And then plus, if we go above 1080, we need to make the character models drastically bigger, and then that would create some issues. So we'd rather downscale the character models to 1080 rather than upscaling them to 4K. But that's with the 3D modeling. In terms of Sony Vegas, if you're working with 4K, it utterly wrecks the system. And as it is, even with this powerful hardware that I have, working on these types of videos does take up a lot of processing power. Hmm. Got it. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, so is there anything you need from me at the immediate moment? Okay, so that I'm gonna work on. Okay, I'd estimate that that's gonna take around a week, just because Salieri's PC is busted. I don't have an okay from Jason that he's willing to do it, and if neither of them can do it, I'd have to find someone else. So it might take a week, if not maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. So in the meantime, I'd say focus on just learning and nailing down the anime art style. Also, if you're just doing practice right now, if you're not actually making finished models, instead of using that model, I'd recommend using one of the better looking models we have. We actually have one model that has full animation for 2D if you want that. Do you know what live 2D is or no? Exactly. You don't need to know how you don't need to know how it works. Wrong channel. 1 second. I'm putting it in the Project Prayer chat. So download this. Here's how it works. You download that, you download Live 2D, you open this in Live 2D. On the side, there's a bunch of sliders. You mess around with the sliders, and this thing is already rigged up with animations. So because of that, you could see exactly how the animations will move the model and things like that. If you're just doing practice right now and these are not intended for the project, it's just for you to improve your skill, I recommend working based on this model because this is the most complex model in the project. We already have it fully animated for the 2D side, and I think it will give you a lot to work on if you just want to practice. Yeah, you want those? Do you want those? I have all of them. You have them? Give you what? Purple heart? Yeah, no problem. Give me a second. If you need any kind of resources whatsoever, I can get my hands on it with ease. So yeah, there's Purple Heart. Like if you need a 3D model that already exists, if you need some additional assistance in the form of someone to help you with certain things, if you need, like, let's say that there's a certain program that you need and you can't get your hands on it, I can find a crack for it. Okay. Yes, so I just put the Neptunia. I'll put a couple of 3D models in the chat in Project Prayer. I have a whole folder of stuff. It's too much really just to flood the whole thing. And again, my folder of Neptunia stuff is 120 gigs large. So, for perspective on how much 3D models alone I have here, and that's just from one game. Yeah. I could rip that. I can. Yeah. There's no depth to it. So maybe a better example of a good fight animation instead of the compile heart games would be something like Death Battle. if you, because they have a whole team working on that. I don't expect you to be able to come anywhere close to that because they literally have a whole team working on those. But because they do YouTube, what? I'm saying the 3D ones. One second. I'll post it in voice dump. So right over here. So like for example, the Deadpool versus Deathstroke video right there. That's not anime style, but you know something. It's a good whatever. Owen said a bit stuck, so I'm gonna listen to some Animal Crossing music. Okay, if you need help with that, let me know. As soon as I'm done with Mr. Sega, I will help you with that, Owen. Yeah. Yeah, even I noticed that. I'm not good at 3D modeling. Yeah. 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 So do whatever you can. If you need help, I will help you find any resources you need, really. Yeah, right now, for the immediate moment, I mean, like, for what I am dealing with today, it's no. So right now, I'm prepping months ahead of time, so that way, the reason I'm just getting you on board now is so that way once we do need that animated fight scene done, we're basically 3/4 of the 3/4 of the way there. So I'm just planning ahead, getting you on board ahead of time, everything like that. But for everything else, I'm just dealing with more of the immediate stuff today. So stuff like getting the text box ready, getting some of the storyboard sequences done, things like that. Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. We don't have a deadline. There is no deadline. So because that doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. The biggest problem is that because everybody, literally almost everybody in this project is in different time zones, and because almost no one is getting paid for this, it makes it that much more difficult. And because everyone also has their own lives that they have to deal with, including myself, it means that we're not really able to develop that infrastructure. If everyone was like on the books being paid for this kind of stuff, or at least more of the people here, then yeah, that would probably be possible, because then they would have an obligation to the project. But with the level at which the project is at budget wise, and with how everyone is, it's very difficult, which is why what I'm doing is I'm taking a very personal role with this, that I'm going to each individual person to make sure that they are doing what they need to be done. And then when needed, I am making sure that the people that do need to discuss things are able to discuss things, with me being there to make sure everything that needs to be discussed gets done. Yeah, I totally feel you. Have you ever considered doing Fiverr? Do you know what Fiverr is? Fiverr? You never heard of it? So it's a website that you can offer your services up to people online, and you could get paid to do it. So what you could do is you could register for an account there, and you can say, I'm a 3D modeler offering up my skills. Here are some examples of previous things I've worked on. If you need a 3D modeler, here are my rates. And then someone can go on the website, look for a 3D modeler, and then request your services in order to get something done. And you select how much you get paid by how many hours and things like that. So there's only so much I can do to help you, because that's your personal life, but that's something I could at least suggest you look into if money is what you really need. Yeah, but you said in March, you said in March that it's going to be a priority. So if you got it, have a backup plan, dude. Trust me, that's not enough of a backup plan. Having a contact within a university, I learned that the hard way. You're able to set stuff like that on Fiverr. It's not specifically like by the hour. You specifically say, okay, here like the basic idea. Here's a basic idea of how the pay structure works, and then you discuss the specific details with the customer. So, if let's say someone wants to have your service, then you discuss with them the specific detail, and you're giving them a quote of roughly how much you expect it to cost them. Yeah, let me give you the website. Well, yeah, I totally get that, and that was because I realized very early on that these kinds of projects are going to be what allows me to learn the things to get to where I want to be. And luckily for me, that ended up working out. The thing is, I live in the United States, and specifically because of my personal circumstances, I have a lot of potential for a lot of different options if one choice that I made didn't work out. In Chile, I don't know the specific circumstances, but I don't imagine it being better. to make 3D model cars. Have you ever considered applying for a position at a car company, because they need people that could do that all the time? Yeah, but what you could do is you could get a work visa. Explore your options, dude. Explore your options. California's a dump. You don't go to California. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I realized that early on with gaming, so that's why I started all this. Light novel. Gotcha. So you're just trying to build out your portfolio, basically. Yeah. What I recommend doing, by the way, is that work on different stuff. Like, if you want to work on this project 100%, that go ahead. I could absolutely use the help. But aside from that, for your own personal, just for you to be able to get ahead, my recommendation is, in addition to working on this, because this will probably benefit you if you're just trying to build out a portfolio, but start your own project as well, because you cannot rely on someone else if you want to get ahead. I can promise you that, I want these models, I want to get this done, blah, blah, blah. And I fully intend, if this takes years, to get it done. But you can't wait years. This is my passion project, so I'm willing to wait years, but 100%. This is the biggest project I've ever made by far. The only thing that comes even remotely close is the Neptunia Reference Guide episode 5. And that video took 8 months, somewhere between 100 to 200 hours of work, and it was a psychotic video. This video has already gone on for over a year by this point. We're still in pre-production. No, it's more that I'm kind of disheartened by this point just because I haven't been able to utilize any of my skill sets by this point yet. And I did a lot of things a bit too early. So I recruited a lot of people too early. I didn't fully utilize everything to the extent that I was able to. And because I can't do much until the actual models are done, I kind of feel to a degree like I'm not even doing anything for my own project. So I'm trying to do the directing the best I can. But keep in mind, this is my project. So of course I'm going to direct my own project. My biggest number one concern out of everything, because the artist can always be replaced. The you potentially like worst case scenario, I could go on to do something else. My biggest concern is that eventually things take so long that the voice actors leave, because I got some really good voice actors for this. And if they at some point either just say, hey, I can't work on this project anymore, or that they decide that they're just not even going to respond at some point because of how long things are taking, that could really screw over some things. So that's why I really want to get this done as quickly as possible, because I recruited them way too early and I don't want them to leave the project. Yeah, yeah, in hindsight, you're right. There was a big catch though, and a big problem with that. The biggest problem with yeah, the biggest thing with that though is that if I'm being perfectly honest, this project was almost canceled. The only reason it wasn't was because of the voice actors. When I first put the auditions onto the yeah, it was a real rough point in my life if I'm being perfectly fair. It was, I wouldn't say it's the lowest. It was probably the second lowest point. No, maybe third. It was a big, because basically that's the point where I gave up on my dream that I've had since I was a kid, that I want to be a game developer. And for the next several months, I had no idea what I even want to do with my life. So I had, yeah, I'm in a better place now. I'm in a better place now because I decided to give up on that. Actually, I don't want to make games anymore. It was, yeah, I know. This project is not going to be as successful as you think, though, in my opinion. I, I don't think this project is going to be as successful as you think. I think it'll get a couple hundred views, maybe max out at a couple thousand at most. What the real thing with this is the sequel to this. If, and it's a big if me and two of the voice actors that are over 18 decide to go through with it. It's very unlikely, but we might have a sequel thing that we make a fan adaptation of SAO chapter 16.5, which is basically a borderline hentai. Yeah.
And the idea is the selling point of that, we sell the selling point of that the selling point of that, we take the live 2D model and we sell that for $5 a pop. Play with Asana's tits for $5. SAO, Sword Art Online, yeah. A what? Yeah, there's a subreddit. Yeah, I did. Problem is, I posted it way too early, before I actually had anything to show off. Now everyone's pissed off because I haven't shown anything yet. I have. Everyone's aware of it. Everyone's aware of it. By this point, they're like, stop spamming about it. Some people do. Some people are genuinely interested. Other people are just sick of me posting about it. So because of that, I'm waiting till I have something more substantial, and I'm going to be rolling it out in phases. So phase one right now is going to be that we are working on demo reels for the voice actors. What that does is that gives the voice actors a good demo reel that they could use to find future jobs, but at the same time demonstrates the quality of the models, the voice acting talent we have on board, and an overall benchmark for what we'd like the actual full series to look like. So since there's 3 voice actors, there's going to be a total of 3 of those. Once we have that done, though, we'll basically have all the actual prerequisites needed to make the full series. So by that point, it's really just a matter of scripting and voice acting and then putting everything together. Exactly. I'm estimating it's going to take another 3 to 6 months of pre-production at this rate. Now the problem is that we lost the character animator that we had on board because apparently he was so good that normally charges commission, and the live 2D model I sent to you that I told you should look at, yeah, that thing, he said he's willing to do that one for free, but it turns out normally he'd charge around $300 commission for something on that level. So I can't exactly pay him to do more of those. Yeah. Frankly, I can't afford to pay that. There's some people on the project that I yeah. Like I set out a specific budget that I could that is like let's say within reason of what I can afford because this is a passion project of mine. Like just a certain percentage and I cannot go above that even if I want to. But because of that, that has to go to the vital people that without them they cannot that this project is not possible. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know. Oh shoot, I have a bunch of people watching right now actually. Sister Sprayer needs all your help. I wish I could help in some way. Just my knowledge on the subject is horrible, so I would hold up. What for? What if you form some kind of contract? I'm assuming you're referring, Joka. I don't even know if you're still watching. I'm assuming you're referring to earlier when we were discussing the when we were discussing getting everyone on board for communication. That's not viable because most people are working for free, so and it's not binding. So people don't leave. What are we talking about? This is prayer voice actors, the project in general. Who made that model? You have very little animation experience. I have video if you're interested. Okay. 1 second. Sorry, I'm juggling 10 things right now. I'm live streaming right now. Okay. Sorry about that. Um. Okay, I have a bunch of other things to do with the project today. I've spent like an hour and a half on this kind of stuff today. Um, yeah, though, is there anything else vital that needs to be dealt with today, or can you continue practicing with that model I sent you? Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm not sure if he was referring to the Yuki model you're talking about on screen, or if he's talking about the Merida model from the Discord over here. The the 3D model. Yeah. Something that might benefit you, by the way, live stream yourself working on these kinds of projects and try to build out a fan base for yourself because that could lead to connections and also that could lead to people that know a lot more about 3D modeling than you that they could give you advice or feedback on different stuff so that way you could like this right here, like I'm live streaming right now talking to you guys about this and I already got some feedback on certain things while I'm live streaming. Yeah, I mean, everyone has to do different things, so it makes sense that if you have different things you have to deal with. I totally get you with that. Don't worry. I one time when I was editing a video for Misty Cornexia, he's a YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers. I think it was a 20 straight hour editing binge to finish up the video. I was dead by the end of that, and I just slept for like 8 hours straight, even though it was the middle of the morning or something. I don't know. That was psycho. Here, let me listen to this. The Animal Crossing soundtrack covers a lot of styles. It's the kind you wanted. Yeah. Let me deal with Owen and deal with the other things. I'll talk to you later if you want to talk more. Okay. Owen, the problem is that doesn't work well as an overworld theme. I wish. I should have held up talking with. I should have stopped talking with Sega so that way I could deal with this. Um, So that sounds more like the thing in the coffee shop, which the problem with that is that this needs to be like an overworld theme for outside. So like the da 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 that type. Let me see. There's a few piano pieces in SAO though. It doesn't matter if there's piano pieces in SAO. What matters is what fits the specific needs of the project. So even if there are piano pieces in SAO, this is a much different format than SAO. SAO is a full-blown anime with full animation and everything. This is a visual novel style, and because of that, some music tracks and some techniques that will work in a full animation might not work as well in a visual novel format, which is the problem. That's part of what I need to do as director. Actually, I need to figure out, and something I'm experimenting with, the kinds of things that work well with visual novels and don't work well with full animations. So, like, if you compare the music in something like, if you look at like Planetarium Reverie of the Little Planet, it has a much different music style than the anime version of it. Same with a lot of anime visual novel adaptations. Let me check some. Okay, this first one doesn't work super well for what we need. That's a bit too slow. Now, by the way, and keep in mind with this that Sister's Prayer, so there's two different virtual worlds shown off in Sister's Prayer. There is the actual there's two worlds shown off in Sister's Prayer. There is the Serene Garden, and there's the Asuka Empire. Those two different games have entirely different themes to them. So the Serene Garden is basically Animal Crossing mixed with Pokemon. Like, that's literally what the game is. It's like a life sim, very similar to Animal Crossing. They literally describe aspects of the game that you get to customize your house, and you go to the shop, you catch bugs and fish, and you sell it to the shop to buy furniture. It's literally Animal Crossing, except the difference is in the Serene Garden, the bugs you capture, you can also use to battle other people's bugs, making it literally just a mix of Animal Crossing and Pokemon, which is why I say that Animal Crossing music would be a very good inspiration for this rather than SAO music. So let me find a good track for you, though. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna need a little bit of time on this. What about the Asuka Empire? The Asuka Empire has more of a old school Japanese feel to it. So basically, it's like it's Shogun era. I don't know the different. I don't know Japanese history at all, but it's like that old era of Japanese culture. Let me get a. There's like a good Neptunia background that kind of illustrates how it would look in Rebirth 3. Let me post that here. Why is the file so big? Okay, let me copy and paste it and then reduce the file size down to something that's smaller. Here. Like this type of architecture, that type of era, you know what I mean? Give me a second. So basically, Samizan. I don't know what Samizan means. Let me Google that. Samizan 3 straight. Let me listen to that. Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm picturing it. Exactly, something like that. That's how I'm picturing it, at least. So don't start on that because that one's first off, that's going to only really affect the last video out of all of them. So let's get started on the ones that are actually going to appear earlier in the project first. And then on top of that, those are so specific really that I want to get a really much better sense of the world before, like just reread the thing in more depth, really storyboard it more in depth, so that way I could get a good sense of, okay, know something, this is a good idea of how I want to sound, and then I can find a good example based on that. In the meantime, though, I think the Animal Crossing thing, that's a good idea to start out with, because immediately right off the bat, that's going to be the Serene Garden, which is like 3/4 of the adaptation. Which Animal Crossing game? I will let you know in a minute because I've played almost all of them, so it really depends on which music I think would best fit the majority of the scenes. What I'm noticing about Animal Crossing is that most of them have a low pitch and a high pitch thing. So like there's like a background thing and then like a foreground that goes like up and down type thing. So I'm thinking we remove that foreground aspect to it and just keep the background. So that way it's more of a simplified tone in general without anything jutting out, if you know what I'm talking about. Exactly, yeah, just the chords. Like maybe a little bit more complex than just the chords, but nothing jutting out too drastically. Because keep in mind, this is going to be looped over and over again. Maybe a couple different tracks that'll be looped over and over again. But if it juts out too much, it'll interfere with other aspects of it. This is going to have full voice acting, so we want the focus to be on the animation and the voice acting, and then the music just creates the atmosphere to it. So if we have chords just jutting out in the foreground on loop that appear at random sections, that could really interfere with that. So let me just, I'll wait for you to respond before I listen to more Animal Crossing music. What about when I score the fight scene eventually? Then can I go all out? 100%, but right now the fight scene is going to be dealt with later in terms of the specifics of things like music and voice acting. The goal right now of the fight scene is just to get a baseline idea of how far we could get the animation. Can we get the animation crazy, insanely detailed, so that way it's basically on par with like something out of Death Battle, or can we only do something relatively simple? We need to cheap out on different things, and that's all down to what Sega will be able to do within the time frame that we have. So before we really have an understanding of, okay, what are we going to do for the music for that, we need to have a better idea of what we could actually do. You can turn on your mic, Sega. I'm not aware of that game. A minute or two? 20? 2 minutes. Sorry for the background noise. It's not that epic. It's not epic on the scale that it needs music like that. It will not fit. Something like that will not fit with this. The fight scene is literally two characters doing ninja move against each other. It's not like crazy teleportation, things like that. Exactly. It's close quarters combat and it's not that crazy. There's some backflips and things like that, but it's not even that crazy since they're both beginners at the game. Yeah, you can make one of those. Like we could potentially do a part 5 that's just all bloopers, you know what I mean? Like just an entire sketch video of bloopers with the characters. We could totally do something like that. It's a let's get to that road when we get to it though. So like if you want to make a super epic joke version, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you, but there's no guarantees until we get to that point that we will use it. So just be aware of that fact. See none? Yeah. The writing in the anime is garbage. The writing in the light novels is great. They screwed up the anime. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I need to get back to the music stuff. I don't really have a ton of time to really chit chat today. Sorry, Sega. We could talk a different time. Okay, Owen, go do your thing. I'm gonna listen to some of the Animal Crossing music to find good reference for you. Hmm. Hmm. That doesn't work. This works. Okay, 1 second. Let me check something. Okay, here we go. I need to make sure the audio is not on so that way I don't get a copyright strike. It's not. No. 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 Hmm. Maybe. I like this. This is good. Okay, so here I like as a good example actually. So imagine that paired with this. Imagine that song paired with visuals like this. What do you think? Yeah. And by the way, with this, the like foreground music, yeah, it's a bit too punchy, but it's not so punchy that let me just mute it. It's not so punchy that you have to remove the foreground entirely. Just like tone it down. Use that as inspiration, really.
Is my screen recording off? Let me turn that back on. Here, I'm screen sharing again. I don't know why that turned off. So I'll do something like that with guitar chords and maybe piano. That sounds good. Do you want some other inspirations? Because there needs to be a couple songs like that. It can't just be one or else it's going to get stale. Because imagine each video being 20 minutes and there's like 3 to 4 videos, maybe even longer. Each video could be up to half an hour. What the? You there? Each video could be up to half an hour, really. I doubt it. It's possible for it. Imagine each video being half an hour. It can't be that we have the same background music for each one unless I also pad it out with some royalty-free music. So, just to give you an idea. Okay, so you got it? Okay, so I'm going to find some other tracks. Give me some time with that. No. 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 Maybe. Yeah, I like this one. Hmm. 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 No. No. Absolutely not. No. Ooh, this is great. This is great. This one 100,000,000%. That one's great. Yeah, I can see that for a couple specific scenes. Hmm. We're also gonna need a song for. Let me put this in the planning document actually. Okay, sound effects. Background music. Animal Crossing inspired music for Serga. Said song for opening where Yuki enters VR for the first time and is scared. Yeah, I don't play Bandori, dude. Okay, this is the last one. Look up the track. Oh, the soundtrack. Okay, I'll look it up probably later. Note to self. Look up Bandori soundtrack. Okay. Okay, I got like 4 hours of work on this done minimum. Is there anything else that I need to deal with today and that can't be pushed off till either later today or tomorrow? Oh, and anything? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some more things either later today or tomorrow. In the meantime, right now, just try to get like a really good Animal Crossing like overworld track done, one or two. They have to be loopable, by the way. They loop into each other because keep in mind these are going to be on repeat over and over again. So it can't just be that it ends suddenly and that the ending does not go into the opening. So that's a very important requirement. Okay. If that's done, then I think I'm gonna end both the live stream and just go play a video game. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later.